The fate of the galaxy hinged on one boy from Tatooine. But what if Anakin Skywalker never trained under Obi-Wan Kenobi or even Qui-Gon Jinn? What if the Force itself became his master? The entire Star Wars saga as we know it would crumble and reform into something unrecognizable. A universe without Darth Vader? A galaxy where balance truly meant balance? Today, we're diving into the cosmic what if that would have changed everything. We'll explore how the Force itself might have guided its chosen one directly, bypassing the flawed interpretations of both Jedi and Sith, creating a fundamentally different destiny, not just for Anakin, but for the entire galaxy far, far away. In the canonical storyline, Qui-Gon Jinn discovered Anakin Skywalker on Tatooine, recognizing his unprecedented midichlorian count and believing him to be the chosen one who would bring balance to the Force. But let's rewind and alter one crucial moment. Imagine if, the night before the pod race, while everyone slept, the cosmic force itself manifested to young Anakin, not as a ghost or physical being, but as a presence, a consciousness that recognized its chosen vessel needed guidance directly from the source. In our alternate timeline, the Force doesn't just exist as an energy field for Anakin to draw upon, it becomes an active teacher. That night, it shows Anakin visions of the cosmos, of the interconnectedness of all living things, of the perpetual dance between creation and destruction that maintains the universe. These aren't simply dreams, but direct transmissions of cosmic wisdom, bypassing the interpretations of Jedi and Sith alike. When Anakin races the next day, he's not just using instinctive Force sensitivity as in the canon. He's actively guided by the Force itself, moving in perfect harmony with its currents. His podracer doesn't just avoid obstacles, it becomes almost an extension of the natural flow of energy around him. In this alternate timeline, Qui-Gon still frees Anakin from slavery, but notices something profoundly different about the boy. Anakin demonstrates Force abilities no untrained child should possess. He levitates objects not through concentration and effort, but through intuitive understanding of the Force's natural movement. He senses emotions and intentions with perfect clarity. Most strikingly, in quiet moments, he seems to be listening to something no one else can hear. When they reach Coruscant, the Jedi Council's meeting with Anakin unfolds very differently. Yoda, peering into Anakin's Force signature, doesn't just see potential for darkness, he sees the Force itself, already teaching, molding, preparing its chosen one. The ancient Jedi Master recognizes a form of training that transcends the methods developed over thousands of years by the Order. The Council faces a dilemma unlike anything in their history. Do they attempt to impose traditional Jedi training on a boy already communing directly with the cosmic Force? Or do they step back and observe what the Force itself intends? This creates an immediate philosophical crisis within the Order. Some masters insist that proper training and discipline are essential to prevent corruption. Others recognize that the Force itself may be circumventing their traditions for a purpose they cannot yet comprehend. The debate becomes heated, revealing fractures in Jedi doctrine that have long been papered over by tradition. Traditional Jedi training emphasizes control, detachment, and centuries of established practice. But Anakin, guided by the Force itself, would receive a fundamentally different education, one unconstrained by Jedi doctrine or Sith manipulation. The Jedi Council reluctantly agrees to allow Anakin special status. Not quite a traditional Padawan, but a unique case to be closely monitored. This compromise satisfies no one completely, but acknowledges the unprecedented nature of their situation. As Anakin grows into adolescence, the differences between his Force education and traditional Jedi training become increasingly apparent. While other young Jedi learn to suppress emotions, Anakin learns to channel them. The Force teaches him that emotions aren't inherently light or dark, they simply are. Love, anger, joy, fear, all are natural parts of life's cosmic tapestry. Within the temple, Anakin becomes something of an enigma. He trains alongside others, but follows a different path. He masters traditional lightsaber forms with unprecedented speed, then modifies them in ways that traditionalists find alarming, but undeniably effective. He meditates not to achieve tranquility, but to commune directly with the cosmic force, emerging with insights that challenge thousand-year-old Jedi wisdom. This creates deep friction with the Jedi Order. By his mid-teens, Anakin demonstrates abilities that even masters don't possess, yet refuses to adhere to fundamental tenets of Jedi philosophy. Some masters view him with suspicion, others with fascination. The divide within the Order grows, with some seeing Anakin as the future of Force understanding, others as a dangerous deviation. In this reality, Anakin develops a unique relationship with the Force that transcends the binary of light and dark. He learns that both aspects are necessary, that true balance isn't the elimination of darkness, but the harmonious coexistence of opposing forces. Just as the cosmos requires both creation and destruction, both gravity and expansion, the Force requires both aspects traditionally labeled light and dark. While the Jedi sought to maintain an existing order, Anakin, guided by the Force itself, understands that change, even destructive change, is sometimes necessary for new growth. He sees the flaws in both Jedi conservatism and Sith hunger for power. The Jedi deny the role of destruction in the cosmic cycle. The Sith deny the necessity of creation and preservation. This unique perspective extends to his understanding of midi-chlorians. Where Jedi see them as indicators of potential Force strength and Sith see them as tools to manipulate, Anakin perceives them as they truly are, the very connective tissue between all living things and the cosmic Force, neither servants nor masters, but expressions of universal unity. Perhaps the most significant change in this alternate timeline would be Palpatine's inability to manipulate Anakin. The Sith Lord's greatest weapon was his understanding of the human psyche, particularly fear, attachment, and the hunger for power. But an Anakin guided by the Force itself would perceive manipulations with unprecedented clarity. As the Clone Wars unfold, Palpatine would still attempt to position himself as Anakin's mentor and confidant. However, where the canonical Anakin saw wisdom and friendship in Palpatine, our Force-guided Anakin would sense dissonance, an energy signature fundamentally at odds with the balanced Force he communes with daily. The friendship would still form, but with Anakin playing a more complex game, aware that Palpatine's interest in him serves some hidden purpose, yet curious to understand this purpose. The Force would guide Anakin to neither confront nor completely avoid Palpatine, but to observe and learn. In this timeline, Anakin still forms a relationship with Padme, but it develops differently. Rather than a forbidden attachment kept secret in fear, their connection becomes something more mature. The Force teaches Anakin that love itself isn't dangerous, possessiveness is. Where the canonical Anakin loved with desperate fear of loss, our alternate Anakin loves with acceptance of the natural cycles of the universe. When Padme becomes pregnant, Anakin experiences the natural concerns of any expectant father, but filters them through his unique Force perspective. He senses the potential futures branching from this moment, including the dark possibility that echoes his canonical fall. When Palpatine eventually attempts his master stroke, enticing Anakin with promises of saving Padme from death, the results are dramatically different. The Force would have already taught Anakin about the natural cycle of life and death, about attachment versus love, about fears that blind versus fears that illuminate. Imagine Palpatine's growing concern as his decades-long plan begins to unravel. The perfect apprentice, the key to his ultimate victory, isn't responding as expected. Each carefully crafted emotional trigger falls flat against Anakin's balanced perspective. Worse yet, Anakin begins to understand exactly what Palpatine is. Not just a Sith Lord, but an aberration in the Force, seeking not balance, but dominance. This failed manipulation would force Palpatine to accelerate his plans, revealing himself prematurely. Without Anakin's fall to orchestrate, Order 66 becomes more desperate than calculated. The clone programming still activates, but with Anakin standing against Palpatine rather than with him, the outcome changes dramatically. In this timeline, rather than leading the temple assault, Anakin defends it, a Force wielder with power beyond traditional Jedi limitations, but guided by true balance rather than darkness. His unique connection to the cosmic force allows him to sense the conspiracy before it fully unfolds, warning at least some Jedi before disaster strikes. What would Anakin become under the Force's direct tutelage? Not a Jedi bound by rigid code, nor a Sith consumed by selfish passion. Instead, he would become something unprecedented, a truly balanced Force user, the genuine embodiment of what Chosen One was meant to signify. Traditional Force users chose sides: light or dark, Jedi or Sith, preservation or destruction. But our alternate Anakin transcends this false dichotomy. He understands that compassion without strength becomes ineffective sentimentality, while power without compassion becomes hollow domination. Neither extreme brings true balance. His Force abilities would reflect this integrated perspective. He might use lightning, traditionally a dark side power, but channeled through understanding rather than hatred. Rather than destructive bolts, his lightning might appear as networks of energy that reveal hidden connections or heal severed bonds. His telekinesis would be unmatched because he would draw from all aspects of the Force, moving objects not through dominant control but through harmony with their nature. Perhaps most revolutionary would be his battle meditation, an ability that could simultaneously strengthen allies and create opportunities for enemies to choose different paths. Unlike Jedi battle meditation that simply bolsters one side, or Sith techniques that crush opposition, Anakin's approach would seek resolution rather than simple victory. In the midst of the chaos following Palpatine's revelation and the partial execution of Order 66, Anakin would emerge as neither conqueror nor traditional hero, but as a nexus of balance. Remaining Jedi would find his approach unsettlingly fluid. Separatist worlds would find his compassion confusing. Ordinary citizens would sense something fundamentally different about his presence, compared to either Jedi restraint or Sith intimidation. In this reality, the upheaval of the Clone Wars' end would still leave Padme in a precarious position. She might still die giving birth to Luke and Leia, but Anakin's response would fundamentally differ. Rather than rage against the inevitable, he would accept this loss as part of the cosmic cycle. His grief would be no less profound, but it would be integrated rather than consuming, a reminder of the preciousness of life rather than its unfairness. This experience would deepen rather than corrupt Anakin's understanding of balance. He would raise the twins not as weapons against evil or as tools to restore the Republic, but as beings who might grow to understand the Force in its completeness. Their dual nature, two beings from one union, would symbolize the balance Anakin seeks to bring to the galaxy. With the twins born and Palpatine in retreat but not defeated, this alternate Anakin would begin creating something entirely new. Not a restored Jedi Order with its flaws intact, not an empire built on fear, but a new understanding of the Force that embraces the fullness of existence. The aftermath of Palpatine's failed gambit would create a power vacuum in the galaxy. Without Darth Vader, without the full execution of Order 66, the Republic would be wounded but not transformed into the empire we know. Remnants of separatist forces, opportunistic crime syndicates, and systems seeking independence would all vie for influence in the chaotic aftermath. In this unstable environment, Anakin, now fully understanding his true purpose as the Chosen One, would establish something unprecedented. Not a political entity to replace the faltering Republic, but a new approach to the Force itself. On a remote world, strong in both light and dark aspects of the Force, he would create a sanctuary for those seeking to understand the true nature of cosmic balance. This sanctuary would attract various Force sensitives, survivors from the Jedi Order, individuals who had hidden their abilities during the Clone Wars, even former dark side adherents seeking redemption. The gathering would create immediate tension, as traditional Jedi survivors would resist Anakin's approach, clinging to traditions thousands of years old. The Force, speaking through Anakin, would reveal the fundamental flaws in both traditional approaches. The Jedi fell not because they were weak, but because they denied half of existence. They feared darkness instead of understanding it. And in their fear, they became vulnerable to it. The Sith, conversely, embraced power at the expense of connection, ultimately becoming isolated and self-destructive. This new academy would teach balance first, understanding that anger, fear, and aggression are not inherently evil, but become destructive when they control the user, rather than being channeled constructively. Love, attachment, and passion are not dangers to be avoided, but powerful forces to be integrated wisely. The very emotions the Jedi feared most would be understood as essential aspects of a complete being, neither suppressed nor indulged, but acknowledged and directed. Meanwhile, Palpatine would not be definitively defeated. The Sith Lord would retreat into the shadows, wounded but dangerous, gathering dark side artifacts and followers to his cause. His eventual return would test Anakin's new approach to the Force. Can true balance withstand an onslaught of pure darkness? This looming threat would create urgency in Anakin's efforts to establish a new understanding of the Force throughout the galaxy. Luke and Leia would grow up neither as hidden refugees nor as separated siblings, but as the first students of this new understanding of the Force. They would learn from birth that they're part of something greater, a cosmic rebalancing that their father embodies and that they will help shape. Their dual nature, two distinct personalities sharing a powerful bloodline, becomes a living symbol of the balanced approach to the Force. The galactic consequences of this shift would extend far beyond Force users. Political systems, having seen the corruption of the Republic and the aggression of the Separatists, might begin exploring more balanced governance. Without the Empire's iron grip, many worlds would evolve different relationships with central authority. This reality, where Anakin becomes neither Jedi Knight nor Sith Lord, but something transcendent, reshapes everything we know about the Star Wars saga. The galaxy still faces threats, still experiences conflict, but approaches them from a perspective of balance rather than dominance of either light or dark. As Anakin's new order grows, spreading understanding of true balance throughout the stars, ancient warrior cultures begin to take notice. The Mandalorians, with their own complex code of honor and combat, find themselves drawn to this new philosophy. For millennia, Mandalorians and Jedi stood as adversaries, their worldviews seemingly incompatible. But this balanced approach to the Force speaks to something deep in Mandalorian culture. The understanding that strength without purpose becomes mere destruction, that honor without compassion becomes empty ritual. Imagine Mandalorian warriors with their Beskar armor and weapons designed to combat Force users, standing not in opposition to Anakin's new order, but alongside it. In our next exploration, we discover what the galaxy might look like if Mandalorians and Jedi became allies rather than enemies. How would their combined strength reshape conflicts throughout the stars? What ancient threats might emerge to test this unprecedented alliance? The answers lie in histories not yet written, in possibilities that change everything we thought we knew about that galaxy far, far away. If you've enjoyed this journey through an alternate Star Wars timeline, there are more untold stories waiting to be discovered. Join our growing community of Star Wars enthusiasts who believe in exploring these what-if moments that could have changed the galaxy far, far away. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and activate notifications to catch our next alternative Star Wars story. Each tale offers a new perspective on the characters we love and the choices that define them. Remember to share your thoughts in the comments below. What other pivotal moments in the Star Wars saga would you like to see explored differently? Your ideas might inspire our next adventure. May the Force be with you, always.